Chris, this is such an epic subject matter for this piece. I know you researched so many different world myths and religions and philosophies and ideas. How did you ultimately choose and assemble the texts that you did end up with?
Well, thanks to the ASO, I actually had a team of researchers on these different subjects that were feeding me kind of piles of quotes and paragraphs and excerpts from books and treatises and things like that. And I just poured over them. And the ones that actually felt like they had the potential to be life-changing at some level made it in the piece. And that was my criteria, was that I didn't want to put anything in there that didn't have some direct import to what I was doing across all of these fields.
It's a marvelous mix and variety of authors, ideas, cultures, but in a similar way, you represent them in a variety of ways. I mean, you have so many different ways of representing a text in this piece.
Right. Well, one of the strange things is I've always felt when I was composing that I could, within a piece, kind of give myself some latitude to be a certain sound world. And so one piece of mine might sound a certain way and another piece might have a very different sound world. And I think this may be the first piece that I kind of brought them all into one piece. So this kind of, more rock-influenced music stuff, which is a kind of a romantic breadth and that kind of thing, a post-minimal kind of language, they all ended up in various places in the work. So it felt appropriate because of the nature of the work of creation and the plurality of it.
And then there's the plurality of presentation of soloists, chorus, orchestra, actors.
Yeah.
Lights.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one of the neat things about this was kind of listening to what the way each of these texts wanted to be put into play in a way. In the beginning, I thought, of course, it's going to be an oratorio and it's going to be all musical. But as I kind of dug into some of the music and the text, I thought, well, really what we need here is a big open space for consideration. What if we did a reading instead of a musical setting of this? And so there are these moments in the piece where things kind of shift a little bit in terms of what the mode of presentation is. And I think it gives it a little bit of variety and kind of ends up giving it kind of different corners that you can go and think about something in a different way than if it was 80 minutes of just straight music.
You certainly created a piece of theater as well as a piece of music. Do you think your experience writing opera served you, even though this is by no means an opera, and it's not a piece of theater in the sense of a narrative, it's somehow still a very theatrical work?
Oh, no question. I mean, the great thing about opera is that the drama justifies just about anything, no matter what the context is. It justifies a character, it justifies a musical decision, it just justifies a moment in time relative to everything else. And that is something I've always felt even before I started writing opera, but now I feel a kind of liberty that if there's a dramatic justification behind a decision like that, then it can be put into play effectively.
It is amazing how these disparate texts speak to one another and are related. So it's miraculous.
Well, and in fact, there are two sets of dialogues in which the scientists talk to each other and they kind of interact. And then later in the piece, The Angel and the Marble is the artists and creative personalities in history talking to each other in some way. And there's dialogue even between that. So that the science movement is then followed by a text of St. Augustine. And what the scientists are doing is actually strangely reflected in this religious text in a very profound way. Time and kind of the idea that you find in physics of the interconnection of what time is and existence, that comes together very synthetically and beautifully in the St. Augustine.
Well, thanks for giving us this beautiful adventure.
Well, thanks for making it happen. It's a great pleasure to do this.